Hi guys, welcome back. This is part 2, of the dreams and visions. The first one I talked about hell. Now this one happened about 2 years later. First one was when I was 19, this one was when I was about 21, and I was now married to my husband. What happened is my mother at the time, she had nowhere to live, and I didn't want to see her out in the streets, even though I had a very bad childhood, and I was physically, mentally abused very badly. I don't want no pity, I'm just trying to explain something. I forgave her when I got older. It took me a while, but I did. And she was homeless one day, and I couldn't see her homeless. So I invited her to stay in my home. And she was a child of God. She had literally given her heart to Jesus Christ. And she was a total different person. Nothing like it was when I was a kid. Nothing. I mean, she wasn't perfect, but she wasn't like she used to be. Well, one night I'd be reading the Bible with her. The next night, I'd be in a bar with my husband, kicking up my heels, cussing and swearing. I was doing, but that wasn't the only thing that I was doing that was bad. I'm not going to say what I was doing, but folks, take my word for it, it was pretty bad. It wasn't good. I didn't kill nobody or nothing, but it was really bad. And at least I'm honest, it was very bad. And I didn't really believe in God. Because I thought, how could a God allow me, when I was a child, to go through all of that abuse? How could he do that and not step in and help me? Little did I know that actually he did help me. Because when I was a child, he used to give me dreams too. And even though I'm not really going to get into them, trust me, they were pretty remarkable, pretty awesome dreams. And there's no way I could have dreamt something like that. I was too small. And even though I was abused, when I got older, God called me out in the ministry. So he has been with me all along. It's just when you're a child, you feel completely alone. And I didn't know, and I did go to church, but I didn't know which way to run, Well, when I got older, I stopped believing in God. To me, he did not exist. When I was 21, and I told you about my mother, one night I said goodnight to her, and I went to bed. My husband was already in bed. The second, and folks, I really need for you to believe me, honest to goodness, it really did happen. It really did. When I got in bed, the second I got in bed, I was going to lay on my stomach. And I went to lay down, and a gentle force, I didn't feel no fingers or nothing. It was just a gentle force. It lifted my head up, and I went. My mouth fell open. I was in a trance. But I could think and use my mind, and I could move my eyes, but I couldn't move my body. My whole wall lit up. And when the wall lit up, I saw Jesus Christ on the cross. And then I heard power coming from, vision, and it was going, it was really, really weird, but awesome at the same time. And I can remember looking from the top of his head, clear down to his toes, and he had a cloth, of course, just like it says in the Bible, and it was around his middle part. I saw his hair, eye, well, I didn't see his, I only saw the eyelids. There was a cloud in front of his eyeballs, you know. Because it says in the Bible that to look upon God's face, it's too much power. So, his hair is brown, and it's a little bit wavy, and it's like dark brown. It comes down to his shoulders. And his bangs, you know, it's all one length. He's got very bushy eyebrows. His nose is very slender. His lips are full. And he had no hair on his chest. And his arms were like a carpenter's arms. And I saw his fingernails. I saw his toenails. That's awesome. I knew exactly who I was looking at. The second I looked at it, I knew exactly who that was. But he was correcting me. And he took his hand and he went, no! Because I was into a lot of bad stuff. Believe me, I don't want to say what it was. It was pretty wicked. Because I had no conscience, you know. My life was already bad when I was a kid, and as I was growing up, I just got worse and worse and worse and worse, you know. And then I started not even believing in God, even though I went to church all the time when I was little. And the reason why he corrected me because I was into a lot of wicked sin. Then as soon as he was done correcting me, he was done. You know, I wish that parents down here on planet Earth could be that way. The second they correct their kids, be over, be done with it. Don't go on and on and on and on. Well, he didn't. Corrected me one time, and that was it. Then he was so sweet. And he took his hands. Now, his hands had the, you know, where he was nailed to the cross, and there were little holes in his feet. He took his hands, and he lifted them up toward heaven. And he went, Eli, 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 and some other words. And then all of a sudden, when he was done with that, his head dropped. It went. And the sky turned blue, purple, pink, yellow, green, like a mint green. And it was flashing through the sky. And the day turned into night. And trees uprooted. A big earthquake came. I saw the whole crucifixion. It went real fast, but yet I saw everything. My mind was capable of taking it all in, you know, at a fast pace that it was going. Then, the dream, or the vision, it went off. The second the vision went off, I went out. and my head went, I was out until morning. I mean, I was out cold. Well, in the morning, I woke up. Thank God I didn't just have, you know, my undergarments on. Thank God I had on a nightgown. Because I was so, when it happened to me, I had to go tell my mom. Who wouldn't be like that, you know? I jumped up out of bed and whoosh, straight out of my bedroom, and I was running. My husband had been at work, you know, he went to work. And I was literally skipping steps, and the whole time, you know, trying to get downstairs, and the whole time I'm doing it, I'm going, Mom, 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 you know. I got down at the bottom, and she was sitting in my living room reading her Bible. Because she had become very close to God, you know, which was beautiful. And I was trying to with her, but then I'd run right back and do wicked stuff. So, you know, but God got a hold of me and showed me different, you know. Anyhow, what happened was, as soon as I told her what happened, I said, Mom, you're not going to believe me. You're going to think I'm making this up. But I swear it happened. And when I, and she, you know, she said, what happened? And when I told her, she just looked at me. Eyes real big. She had to put her Bible down. She just stared at me. And she goes, have you ever read the crucifixion of Jesus Christ? And I said, no. She said, you never read it? I said, nope. She says, have you heard about it? And I said, all I've heard is that he died on the cross for our sins, and I heard that he was beaten, whipped, and stabbed with a sword inside, and, you know, that kind of stuff. But what I saw, all that extra stuff, like the sky turning and, you know, the day turning into night, nobody ever told me that. Trees uprooting. And she said, I'm going to read it to you. And I said, okay. So she read it to me. As soon as she got to the part that he was speaking in another language, and he went, Eli, Eli, and some other words, I went, oh my God. And I'm prancing around in a circle in front of my mom. And I'm going, you mean that was real? And I'm going, you mean to tell me that was real? And my mom goes, yeah, yeah. And I said, oh my God. It was so wild that day I went to a little, you know, shopping center in my town. And I had to get out of the house. I saw this man standing in front of this store, and I parked my car, got out. I couldn't wait to get up to him, and I'm telling him what happened, and he's just staring at me. Suddenly there was a tap, you know, behind me, and another man, he had heard what I said, and he goes, darling, he says, we all got to believe in something. And I looked at him, and I became very angry. And I said, sir, if you would have saw what I saw on my wall last night, you wouldn't be saying that right now. I didn't touch him. I was just pointing at him sternly. And he kind of got upset. I don't blame him. I didn't do it right, you know. But I needed somebody to believe me, because this really did happen. I turned around, and the man that I was originally talking to, I saw tears coming out of his eyes. So I did get somewhere that day. It's just at the time I didn't really realize it until later on. And if you would have asked me before I had that vision, you know, is God real? You know, I'd have went, and they would say, do you believe in God? And I'd say, you know. But after I had that vision, oh yeah, I know that Jesus Christ is real. He really did walk on the earth. He really did die. He really did raise on the third day, and he really is seated next to his Father. He's real, guys. He's real. And I need for you to please understand that if you do not give your heart to him, you're not going to make it to heaven. I'm not trying to be mean and critical, because I want everybody to go to heaven. I don't want nobody in hell. And I couldn't say this years ago. I just couldn't, because I didn't believe in God. I wasn't actually an atheist, but I might as well be one, because I was just like it. But now I'm not. Especially when that vision came about. And there was also a man in the Bible, his name was Thomas. And when Jesus arose on the third day, Thomas saw him, you know, appear in front of him. Thomas looked at Jesus and said, if you're really the Lord, show me the nail marks in your hands. Show me the nail marks in your feet. Because he he thought he thought he was looking at a ghost, you know. And Jesus showed him, and Thomas fell to his knees and started worshiping him. You know what Jesus called him? He said, "Oh, Thomas, doubting Thomas." And then he turned around to the crowd, or, well, not the crowd, but the people that was standing there. And he goes, "Better is he who believes and has not seen." So it took me to see a vision of Jesus Christ for me to believe that he was real. But then when I sit here and I think of when I was a child and all this, you know, even through the abuse, all the dreams I had, I mean, these were really wild dreams. There's no way I could have dreamt things about what I dreamt about. I was just a little kid, you know, and God was trying to get a hold of me then. And you know, I even preached in the park when I was 9 years old. Something just came over me and I started preaching to a bunch of hippies. Who does that? You know? I did. It just came out of me. And they were shocked, sitting around with their mouths hanging open, saying, "Who told you that, little girl? How'd you find that out?" And I said, "God told me." I was only 6. I don't know how many hearts I won over to Jesus Christ that day, but I know it was pretty wild. And I didn't realize that God was trying, he was drawing me in when I was a child. I didn't get it like I do now. And I tell you guys, please, if you haven't asked God to forgive you of all your sins, things that you've done or said, please go to prayer and do that. I'm begging you, because time is winding up and Jesus is going to come back for his children, and you don't want to be left. I know a lot of people think, oh, that's a bunch of hogwash. I promise you it is not. And that's coming from somebody who didn't believe in God. Somebody who went to church when I was a little girl, but went through so much abuse, I didn't believe in God. I thought, there ain't no God. When I saw that vision, that changed my entire life. Because I now know there really is something else out there. We're not alone. So please give your heart to Jesus Christ. I'm begging you. The next video will be part 3. And that's about, you know, another dream that I had. It's really wild. So you're not going to want to miss it. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.